Imagine looking up at the vast, open sky and dreaming of soaring among the clouds. Now, imagine holding that dream while being born into a world that seeks to keep you grounded in every possible way. This was the reality for Charles Frederick Page, a truly remarkable man whose story begins in 1864 in Pineville, Louisiana. Born into the cruelty of slavery, Page's early life was defined by limitations, yet his mind was boundless. From these challenging beginnings, he grew into a visionary inventor, a leader in his community, and a pioneer who dared to reach for the heavens. His journey is a powerful reminder that genius and determination can blossom even in the most difficult of circumstances. Long before the world knew the names Orville and Wilbur Wright, Charles Page was hard at work, sketching out his own vision for human flight. His invention was not a plane as we might picture it today, but a magnificent and complicated airship. It was a type of mechanical balloon, a lighter-than-air craft designed to float using the principles of buoyancy. This made it fundamentally different from the Wright brothers' heavier-than-air glider, which required powered engines to generate lift and overcome gravity. Page's design was unique, a testament to his incredible ingenuity and his deep understanding of mechanical engineering, all developed without formal education. He was truly a self-taught master of his craft. The timeline of his achievement is truly astonishing and challenges the familiar story of aviation we've all been told. Charles Page filed the patent for his airship on April 24, 1903. This was a full 8 months before the Wright brothers made their historic first flight at Kitty Hawk on December 17, 1903. While the Wrights had filed their own patent a month before Page, it was Page who received his official U.S. patent first. On April 10, 1906, the United States government granted him U.S. patent number 817-853, officially recognizing his airship as a unique invention. This was more than a month before the Wright brothers received their patent, cementing Page's place as a true pioneer. According to the stories passed down through generations of his family, Page did more than just dream and design. Behind his home in Pineville, he built a workshop, a creative sanctuary where his ideas took physical form. It was there that he constructed a working prototype of his airship. His family's oral history, a precious and important record, insists that he successfully flew this prototype. While no photographs or official documents of this flight have survived the passage of time, the family's account paints a vivid picture of a man achieving the impossible. It speaks of a triumphant moment when a formerly enslaved man from Louisiana slipped the bonds of earth and touched the sky. In 1904, a grand opportunity arose that promised to change Charles Page's life forever: the St. Louis World's Fair. This massive international exposition was a showcase for the greatest inventions and innovations of the era, and it offered a substantial cash prize for advancements in aviation. With his patent pending, Page saw this as his chance to unveil his airship to the world and finally gain the recognition and resources he deserved. He carefully disassembled his full-scale prototype, the culmination of years of tireless work and sacrifice, and shipped it by rail, full of hope that his genius would finally be celebrated on a global stage. His dream was packed in crates, heading toward a destiny he could never have predicted. But Charles Page's airship never made it to the World's Fair. In a heartbreaking turn of events, the prototype vanished while in transit. The machine that represented all of his aspirations was stolen, never to be seen again. While the exact details of the theft remain shrouded in mystery, his family has always believed that this was not a simple act of robbery. They are certain it was an act of racial prejudice, a deliberate effort to sabotage a black inventor on the verge of greatness. In the deeply segregated society of the Jim Crow South, the idea of a black man achieving such a monumental feat was threatening to the established racial order. His invention was not just stolen, it was erased. The loss of his airship was a devastating blow from which Charles Page never fully recovered. The project had consumed all of his financial resources, leaving him completely bankrupt. More than the money, the theft shattered his spirit. He had poured his heart, soul, and intellect into his creation, only to have it cruelly ripped away. The man who had dreamed of navigating the skies was left grounded by an act of hatred and injustice. The weight of this loss was immense, silencing the ambitions of a brilliant mind. All the years of solitary work, the meticulous planning, and the hope for a brighter future disappeared along with his invention. Even in the face of this tragedy, Page's genius was not entirely unnoticed. Sometime after the theft, he reportedly received an offer of $30,000 for his patent, a fortune at the time. But the fire in his heart had been extinguished. Discouraged and disillusioned by his experience, he turned down the offer. He allowed his patent to expire, giving up on the world of aviation forever. The world of flight had promised him freedom, but the world on the ground had delivered only pain and disappointment. And so, Charles Page, the visionary aviator, stepped back into the shadows, his incredible story nearly lost to the winds of time. So why is the name Charles Frederick Page not as famous as Orville and Wilbur Wright? The answer is a sad and complex tapestry woven from systemic racism, historical bias, and tragic misfortune. In the early 20th century, the accomplishments of Black Americans were routinely ignored, dismissed, or stolen. The racial barriers of the Jim Crow era were designed to limit opportunity and deny recognition. An inventor like Page, no matter how brilliant, faced a society that was structured to ensure he would not succeed, or at the very least, that his success would not be acknowledged. The theft of his airship was not just a personal tragedy, it was a symptom of a deeply prejudiced system. Furthermore, the narrative of aviation history quickly became dominated by the Wright brothers. Their achievement with powered, heavier-than-air flight was well documented, photographed and promoted, capturing the world's imagination. Their success created a single, powerful story about the dawn of flight that left little room for other pioneers, especially those whose inventions were different, like Page's buoyancy-based airship. History often prefers simple stories with clear heroes, and the detailed, proven account of the Wrights' success overshadowed the unverified, tragically interrupted story of Charles Page. His lack of surviving evidence, combined with the racial climate, made it easy for his contributions to be overlooked. Beyond his work as an inventor, Charles Page was a pillar of his community in Pineville, a leader who commanded deep respect. His influence went far beyond his workshop. In 1911, when racial tensions in the area were about to erupt into a violent riot, it was Page who stepped in as a mediator. His wisdom and calm authority helped to de-escalate the conflict and prevent bloodshed, demonstrating a different kind of courage. He was a man who not only dreamed of building machines, but also dedicated himself to building a better, safer community for his people. He was a leader in every sense of the word, using his standing to protect and uplift others. His compassion was also evident in his everyday actions. Page was known to build coffins for poor families in his community who could not afford a proper burial for their loved ones, offering dignity in times of sorrow. His most lasting contribution to his community may be the Lincoln Memorial Cemetery, which he founded to provide a dedicated and respectful final resting place for Black residents of Pineville. This act ensured that the members of his community would be remembered with honor. Charles Page was more than an inventor with a stolen dream. He was a foundational figure whose legacy was etched into the very heart of his hometown. For decades, the story of Charles Frederick Page was kept alive primarily through the oral traditions of his family and the local memory of his community. But stories like his are too important to remain in the shadows. We must actively work to uncover them, to learn from them, and to share them with the world. Thankfully, in recent years, a dedicated effort has begun to bring Page's incredible journey into the public eye, ensuring that his name and his achievements are given the honor they have so long been denied. These efforts are not just about correcting the historical record, they are about reclaiming a legacy of Black excellence and resilience that has been overlooked for far too long. This new chapter of recognition has taken many wonderful forms. In his hometown of Pineville, Louisiana, the city has officially honored his memory, and a state historic marker now stands at the site of his former home and workshop. This marker serves as a permanent tribute, a physical reminder for all who pass by that a great inventor once lived and dreamed there. But the recognition has extended beyond his hometown. In the summer of 2024, the Louisiana State Museum unveiled a special exhibit at the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, titled Pioneer Skies from Freedom to Flight, the history of Charles Frederick Page, bringing his story to a global audience of travelers. These exhibits and honors are vital because they piece together a more complete and honest picture of our shared history. They challenge the simplified narratives we have been taught and introduce us to heroes whose stories are just as inspiring as those we already know. When we learn about Charles Page, we learn about more than just an airship. we learn about the incredible power of the human spirit to innovate in the face of oppression. We see the profound impact one person can have, not only through their inventions, but through their leadership, compassion, and commitment to their community. His life is a lesson in perseverance. Remembering forgotten heroes like Charles Frederick Page is essential. It reminds us that history is not a single unchanging story but a vast collection of voices, many of which have been silenced. By seeking out these voices, we enrich our understanding of the past and find new inspiration for the future. We honor the struggles of those who came before us and ensure that their contributions are never again erased. The sky that Charles Page dreamed of flying in belongs to everyone, and so do the stories of those who dared to reach for it. But you don't have to take my word for it.